All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a really fascinating large-scale experiment in artificial intelligence, one that brought thousands of people together for a pretty ambitious goal. So what does happen? Well, a company called Codatta decided to find out, and the results from their massive collaborative project are, frankly, pretty mind-blowing. So let's get right into it. Codatta just finished up this thing they called Airdrop Season 1. And look, I know what you're probably thinking. Airdrop sounds like some kind of promotional giveaway, right? But this was so much more than that. This was a true experiment. And they were super clear about it from the get-go. They were trying to see just how far we can push these large language models, the AI brains behind stuff like ChatGPT, by getting a massive community involved in the training process. Okay, so how big are we talking here? Let's break down the numbers because the scale of this thing is seriously impressive. Get this, over 10,000 people from all over the globe jumped in to help out. And we're not just talking about passive users. These were active participants, all working together to teach an AI. And all those people, together, they created this tidal wave of information. Over 163,000 separate data submissions. I mean, that is just an incredible amount of data. But here's the kicker. This was not just a numbers game. For Codatta, it was all about quality. So out of that huge pile of 163,000 submissions, only about 47,000 actually made it through their tough filtering process. Let that sink in for a second. That means almost 3/4, a whopping 71% of everything that was submitted got rejected. That really tells you they were laser focused on getting the good stuff, not just a lot of stuff. And it gets even better. Of the data that did make the cut, the overwhelming majority, we're talking over 38,000 entries, hit what they call S-level quality. That's their top tier, the absolute cream of the crop. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did they pull that off? How do you sift through a mountain of data like that and keep the quality so incredibly high? Well, they went with a hybrid approach, AI plus human review. Kind of like having a super fast robot do the first pass, and then a team of experts coming in to handle all the fine details. The best of both worlds. And here's how that process actually worked. First, an AI would do a quick scan, to kick out the obvious spam and junk. Then, actual human reviewers would look at it, checking for all the nuance and context an AI might totally miss. And only then did it get the final green light. And their focus on quality didn't stop with just the data. No. They were also super serious about keeping the community clean and making sure people weren't trying to cheat the system. Yeah, check this out. They found and booted nearly 8,000 malicious accounts. They just blacklisted them, plain and simple. That's a huge statement about protecting the integrity of the project. Okay, so this brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why go through all this trouble, all this filtering, all this security? What's the end game? It all comes down to this idea they call the AI knowledge layer. Think of it like building a foundational, super curated textbook for AIs. But instead of being written by one author, it's built by a whole community, all trying to make AI models smarter and more reliable. So, Season 1 was clearly a huge success. But what's really exciting is that this is just the beginning. So, what's next? Where does this whole thing go from here? Well, a huge piece of this is actually giving back to the wider AI community. They're planning to release a brand new dataset that's all about where these models fail. And that is gold for researchers, because if you know where AI messes up, you can start to figure out how to fix it. Plus, they're beefing up an existing dataset too. And they're not being shy about it. This was just step one. This was the proof of concept. The bigger vision here is to build a whole new kind of data economy, one where anyone can contribute their expertise and be a part of building the future of AI. And really, this whole thing leaves you with a pretty powerful question. I mean, we just saw what a community of over 10,000 people can build together. If they can build a dataset this good, what else is possible for AI when we all decide to work together?